I think we should. Happy Friday, everyone. We're here back with another episode of AKP Sports Talk. Um, Episode 5, I believe. Here at Korea, as always. How are you doing today, Korea?
It's good. It's good. It's Friday. It kind of snuck up on me, but I literally forgot AllStar weekend was this weekend. But yeah, there's that. I saw my Cougs lose last night in another game. That's our fourth straight loss, so we're not going to talk about that. But I'm doing good. What's up with you? How's your Friday going?
It's pretty slow so far, but happy to be here as always.
Of course, of course.
Um, so I didn't bring this up, but today starts AllStar weekend. Or I didn't bring this up the other day, but we'll start off with today's event. We'll start off with the celebrity game. We got team Conference of Champions, Bill Walton himself against, I believe Dominique Wilkins is the other coach. I wrote the rosters down. We got Jimmy Allen, Brittany Elena, Machine Gun Kelly, Dearica Hamby, Noah Karlick, Nigel Houston, Matt James, Quavo, Ranveer Singh, and Alex Toussaint on Team Walton.
Ari, it's actually Quavo.
Quavo.
Quavo, yes.
And then we got Annual Double A or A.
Oh yeah, Annual AA. Yeah, I don't know.
Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb, Kane Brown, Miles Garrett, Boobie Gibson, former I think Cleveland Cavs player, Tiffany Haddish, Jack Harlow, Krista Jackson, Angeli Ronadive, and Gianmarco Tamberry on Team Wilkins. Who you got in this game?
Well, that's a star-studded lineup right there. I mean, you want to talk about ball. I mean, you want to talk about like true celebrity ballers. You look at Miles Garrett. I mean, we've seen some of his videos, right, where he's just dunking and playing some pickup basketball with some people at the rec. But this dude is big. And all you have to do is just put him in the post and he'll just body everyone. He'll get you like 40 points. So I think Miles Garrett's going to be the biggest impact player. Jack Harlow, we've seen him before playing 2-on-2. He has some handles. He wasn't shooting the ball well, but he's got some handles. And same for Quavo for Bill Walton's squad. Quavo has some handles. I don't really know how the lengthy MGK is going to be doing. No disrespect to him, but I mean the dude's a little lengthy. He needs to be having some milk. But I got Team Wilkins. I mean, they actually got some ballers, and Miles Garrett's going to be their biggest impact player, just in terms of just how big he is. I mean, we've just seen what it's pretty much like. So, but oh god, I'm gonna go with Team Wilkins because they have Miles Garrett.
So is Miles Garrett your MVP?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't see anyone in either squad really doing anything to stop Miles Garrett. I mean, this dude has like been just hammering rims down like in his free time, and I no shade to the Browns, but I think he wants to let off a little frustration at the rim, and I think he's going to do that in the All-Star game. So, in the Celebrity All-Star game, excuse me. So I got Miles Garrett being my MVP.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he has the ability to just drive every time, but do you think he's going to be like one of those like high school football players that thinks he can play and he like shows up at the practice and just like bricks a bunch of threes? Like,
you see, that's the thing that's scaring me because like he's so big. Pause. I like he looks like one of those football players who would just foul everyone. Like that's what he looks like. But he can dunk. I mean, he can dribble. I can from what I've seen. So we'll see. I guess. I personally, I would just say Miles Garrett just on his ability to just get to the basket. But if I really had to say like there's maybe I would maybe say like I don't know, Jack Harlow, Quavo. Is there any other former NBA players?
I think wasn't Boobie Gibson on the Cavs?
I'm about to say Boobie Gibson, but I mean
I
Miles
feel
Garrett's in his prime too, so
yeah. I'll go with Wilkins too, and I'll just be a little different. I'll say Jack Harlow for MVP, but
Always
So
gotta go with the white guy. I'm just kidding.
we'll move on to the Rising Stars later tonight. It's like a new format. It's like 12 rookies, 12 sophomores, and 4 G League players, and they're playing like 3 games. There's like a target score, like the actual All-Star game changed to, and they're honoring the 75th anniversary. So the first 2 games are going to 50 points, and the game 3 is going to 25 points. So we got Team Rick Barry with Kate Cunningham, Dyson Daniels, Evan Mobley, Okoro, Segun, Jayshawn Tate, and Franz Wagner. And then we got Team Isaiah Thomas with Precious Achua, Bain, Bay, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, Jaden Hardy, Isaiah Stewart. We got Team Gary Payton with LaMelo, Scotty Barnes, Dosunmu, Chris Duarte. I believe he's hurt, so Kuminga was replacing him. We got Mr. Scoot Henderson, Davion Mitchell. I believe he's hurt too, and Bones Highland was replacing him. And then we got Jaden McDaniels. And then James Worthy's team is Cole Anthony, Marjan Beauchamp, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Herbert Jones, Tyrese Maxey, and Jalen Suggs. So I believe it's Barry versus Thomas's team in 1 game, and Peyton versus Worthy in 1 game. And so those 2 games go to 50. The winner played in the championship to 25. Just based off that, who you got, Kuria?
Well, first of all, I like this new format, like having like the rookies and then like the sophomores and then people from the G League. Like obviously that's like the future right there. So I love this new format. I think this format should stay, kind of like the new All-Star game for the NBA. That whole game, that should stay. This should stay. I like it. In terms of each team, I just really like the whole roundedness and maybe Team Thomas. I mean, from like what you see here, I mean, you have Anthony Edwards who's playing good. I mean, you have Sadiq Bey, you have Bain, you have Stewart, who's a big man. You have Halliburton, who's obviously playing well right now. You have Achiuwa, I can never pronounce his last name, from the Raptors. And then Jaden Hardy, I mean, out of the G League. But in terms of who I'm most excited to see, I'm obviously going to go with my boy Jonathan Kuminga, go Warriors. I mean, he's coming in, obviously replacing Duarte, but still, I mean, he gets to play with Dosunmu, McDaniel, Scotty Barnes, who was a top 5 pick, LaMelo Ball, and like Scoot Henderson, and all these guys. So I want to say Team Payton, but I don't know. There's something about Team Thomas that just looks, like a whole rounded team. But honestly, I think this is going to be a fun event to watch tonight. Just kind of this new system, where it's not just a bunch of just lobs and dunk contests and 3-point, like the Rising Stars used to be. Like you actually get to see like different levels of competition. So, but maybe Team Worthy may have a chance, with Jalen Green and Cole Anthony and Suggs, all those big names too. But my pick would have to say Team Thomas.
Yeah, I agree with you about the more exposure to the G League players, because obviously not many people, watch G League games. But I think Jaden Hardy was like the 5-star kid who like skipped college to go to the G League. So it should be cool to see him play.
That's right.
So yeah, I think this exposure will be good for these G League players to get to play with the actual, NBA players and see if they could get to that level at some point, of course. So we'll move on to Saturday's event, and we'll start with the skills challenge, which they changed it up. It's now 3 teams to 3 instead of before it was like everyone against themselves. But we got the Kumpo brothers. We got the Cavs trio, Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. And then the rookies, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, and Josh Giddey. I'm not really sure if it's the same. I'm not sure if it's like you designate one of each for like a certain like part of the skills challenge, or if all 3 have to go through. I'm not really sure. But if they all have to do it, I feel like for Giannis, that the 3 at the end might be his biggest downfall. It's my biggest worry for him. I'm kind of looking the rookie team with Barnes, Cade, and Giddey. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, I kind of like this new format too. Like just 3 different teams. Obviously, just loving the fact that just since there's the Antetokounmpos all together, you might as well just throw them together. So I like that. I also like the team Cavs. Obviously, I think that you do it for each city since obviously different cities host the All-Star game. So like obviously since Cleveland's doing it this year, they should keep that. And then the rookies, I like that. I'm looking under the new like format rules, and it says like 3 teams. It's a 4-round competition that tests shooting, passing, and dribbling ability. And each of the 3 teams will compete in the first 3 rounds. The teams with the most challenge points, whatever that is, after the first 3 rounds will advance to the final round. The challenge points are earned by winning like the first 3 rounds. So apparently it's not even just how the usual format is. It's round like so they have different abilities for each round. So round 1 is shooting. So you have to and everyone's participating apparently. So all players from each team will participate individually. This is according to NBA.com, by the way. Individually with their 2 teammates rebounding. So I guess there's a rotation. Like you have 1 person shooting and 2 people getting boards from each team, I guess. Each player has 30 seconds to shoot from 5 different spots on the court, ranging from 10 feet to 30 feet. Players cannot repeat the same shot consecutively. Shots made from each shooting point location will have different values, 1 through 5. Individual player scores will be added together to determine the team score. And the team with the highest team score will earn 100 challenge points. So I guess this is just, like a different version of how like it was all just 1 person doing everything, but they're all doing it. But it's just like, I think a longer process or something. And then round 2 is passing. Round 3 is a team relay. Yes, a team relay. You have to throw an outlet pass into a moving target from the baseline. You have to dribble down the court through 3 moving pylons. You have to make a short shot from the in the lane. You have to make a 3 from the corner against an automated defender, and then you have to dribble to the opposite goal and make a basket, such like a dunk, a layup, or a jump shot. And then the final round, you're not going to believe this, it's a half-court shot. So I guess whoever just makes a half-court shot wins this whole thing. But I think they wanted to just expand it a little more, I guess, because maybe it was just kind of getting repetitive. But out of this one, obviously one of my favorites would have to be the Antetokounmpos, just because of Giannis and just his ability to get down the court up and fast. But in terms maybe of a unit, I would say maybe the Brooks as well. I mean, you have Cade Cunningham and Scotty Brooks and Josh Giddey, and then I think it's going to be more team oriented. I think obviously since the Cavs play together, I think they have a lot more chemistry. So in terms of the favorite,
they also have the hometown ring for them.
Exactly. So they're just playing some like pickup in their home court. So in terms of the favorites, I definitely go with the Cavs, and I think the Cavs may actually pull it out with Jared Allen, Garland, and Evan Mobley.
Yep. If you guys are watching, feel free to leave a comment, and we'll put it on screen, and we'll get to it after we talk about the 3-point contest next. We got Fred VanVleet, Desmond Bain, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, McCollum, Patty Mills, Cat, and Trae Young. Obviously, shooting in this contest is 100% different than shooting in game, and so that's what you have to take into account. Who are you liking, Kuria?
This is an interesting field because you don't see like the typical guys like your Steph Currys or your Klay Thompsons or your Damian Lillards or your Zach LaVines. Like your people who have been doing this since like the mid 2010 decade.
LaVine is in it.
Oh, he is in it. Oh, yeah. That's right. Oops. But like the typical like the Splash Bros or like Dame. But I mean, CJ's also in there. But this is interesting for me. Obviously, I would also probably go with maybe either VanVleet or Trae Young. I don't know, just Trae Young can just pull up from anywhere and he'll just make it. That's just how Trae Young shoots the ball. Kind of, it's just like a mini Steph. But I don't know. I think I just like Van Vliet's consistency. I don't know, but apparently some of the favorites are Van Vliet and Mills, followed by Trae Young at plus 500. Then you have Bane at plus 550, Levine at plus 600, Luke Kennard 700, McCollum 1,000, and then Karl Anthony Towns 1,200. I like the inclusivity of having the big men in there like Karl Anthony Towns and Kennard to an extent, but obviously this is just a different competition than just doing it during the game or in practice. So in terms of just most consistencies, I'm going to say either Van Vliet or Trae Young, and I think that's going to be the final, and I think Trae Young is going to win it.
Yeah, I think Young will definitely be one of the favorite picks, but I kind of like Levine with the odds wise. I kind of like Levine as a sneaky guy who can go far. You can catch fire, obviously. We'll go on to the dunk contest. We got Obi Toppin, Jalen Green, Cole Anthony, and your man Juan Toscano Anderson. It's not, normally you have some bigger names in it, but I feel like all these guys have some sneaky jump, sneaky athleticism. But I'm liking Jalen Green personally heading into the contest. So what are you thinking?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really looking forward to this event.
No.
I don't know why. After last year's Anthony Simons kissing the rim incident debacle, I feel like we're gonna get remnants of that this year. There's gonna be a lot of weird stuff happening with.
I think we were spoiled with the Aaron Gordon Levine back in.
Exactly. Those don't even the 2021 with Aaron Gordon and Derek Jones Jr. That was incredible. That just popped up on my Snapchat memories 2 days ago. I was like, that was an incredible dunk contest. That was before COVID hit, obviously, but I don't know what it is. I obviously I haven't seen that much. I mean, I know Cole Anthony and Jalen Green definitely have hops. Toscano, obviously he's my boy. Got to go with my boy Toscano, but honestly, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the dunk contest, and that's something really sad for me because I know Aaron Gordon didn't want to do it again after his Dwayne Wade diss track, but it's just I don't know. Nobody in this field really screams dunk champion. I mean, hell, Anthony Simons last year, almost making out with the rim won it. So, it could be anybody, but I'm obviously gonna go for my boy Toscano. Because, yeah, he's a Warrior. So, but oh god, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be better than last year personally, but obviously it's not going to take much to begin with for it to be better than last year at the same time. So,
yeah, that's true.
So now we'll move on to the main event on Sunday. We got Team LeBron starters: Curry, DeMar, Braun, Giannis Jokic, which is insane to think about. Reserves: Chris Paul, Van Fleet, Luka, Mitchell, Garland, Butler, and Jarrett Allen as the replacement for James Harden. And then for Team Durant, we got starters: Trae Young, Ja, Tatum, Wiggins, Embiid. Reserves: Levine, Booker, Middleton, Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and LaMelo and DeJounte Murray as replacements for Durant and Draymond. It's hard not to see Team LeBron taking this on paper. That's who I'm taking. Or do you have anything different?
No, I had the same thing. I mean, LeBron's team is a cheat code. I mean, let's be real here. You have Giannis, Curry, DeRozan, who's playing like an MVP this year, Jokic, who's playing an MVP this year. I mean, don't forget LeBron James on that team, and then obviously the reserves are pretty stacked as well. I mean, obviously James Harden's not going to play. If he was, that would just be raps. But they have James Harden. No, they still have James Harden, but they still have Jarrett Allen. Obviously Jimmy Butler is playing great in Miami. Luka, we've seen what he can do. I love the inclusivity with Garland, Mitchell, CP3, Van Vliet. They're playing great this year. I'm not gonna I'm gonna be able to just Team LeBron is going to wipe Team Durant. Literally wipe the floor with Team Durant. I mean, Durant's not even playing, and he's literally like one of the best players on that team, and he's not even playing, like, because he's injured. But I mean, I'm sorry, Andrew Wiggins, he's not that guy. Look, he's having a great year, fantastic year. But as a Warriors fan, when I saw him as a All-Star starter, I was a little, I don't know about that. But you know what? Doesn't matter. Love this. Got to support him, but they're gonna get washed. I think MVP. Honestly, I could see it going to like just DeRozan, just the way he's playing recently, or see, this is hard because like you don't know what's actually going to happen till like the game happens. And
I'm going Giannis. He's always one who like tries the hardest, it seems like, in this event. So that's who I'm going with, is Giannis.
I'm saying DeRozan just because I think he's going to go hard too. He's always been playing hard, and with this new format, like maybe it'll just come down to like clutch free throws like last year, or was that 2020? That was 2020. That was right. Yeah, that was 2020. But still, like last year, it was a great game. But honestly, I think it could be DeRozan just the way he's been playing.
I think the added element of the target score definitely makes it where the players try harder, like by the fourth quarter. So I think that was a great addition to the event. I assume that they'll keep it, for a while. So that does it for the All-Star weekend. We'll get into some MLB talk. There's not too much to talk about, but so the Players Association and the MLB met yesterday, and yesterday on Thursday. It lasted all but 15 minutes, which was sad to see. And then we got the update yesterday on Thursday that the MLB informed the Players Union that a new CBA must be agreed on by February 28th. Today's February 18th, Friday, so 10 days. It must be agreed by February 28th to start the season on time, which is like the last day of March or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Passan tweeted that the MLB and the MLBPA are going to hold multiple bargaining sessions, perhaps every day as early as Monday, the 21st, where like players and owners will like fly in for these meetings. I think it's in Orlando, I think is where they're holding these. And then Passan also tweeted for everyone saying, why not sooner? Like as in like starting today. He said that the majority of the industry believes that a deal could come together quickly. And he said that they believe things will accelerate by the end of the month. So if they start meeting on Monday the 21st, they'll have 1 week, which doesn't seem like a lot of time. But, I mean, based on that tweet, maybe 1 week will be enough time. But you'd think that they would have agreed to something by now if it was that easy. So I don't know if that's just I don't know. And then they announced today, Friday morning, that all spring training games are canceled through March 5th, which obviously is not. We already basically knew that. Kuria, what's your thoughts on all of this?
It's frustrating because we already knew coming into this offseason that the 2022 season was going to be, potential lockout and all this drama between the MLB and the MLBPA revolving around the CBA agreement. It's just not looking. It's just not looking good. But I mean, there's optimism. That's all I can really say in terms of all of these meetings happening next week. But I mean, when you come out of a meeting saying that it was only 15 minutes. I've had showers longer than that. 15 minutes. That's not going to do anything. What do you talk about for 15 minutes just to end it that quickly? And that's giving me nepotism. That's making me nervous for what is actually going to happen on Monday. And then with the MLB announcing that they will have to try to make a deal by the end of the month before before March, obviously, to proceed with the season starting on time, which is already going to not start on time because all these players have to essentially warm up still and get ready to play a whole season of baseball. And, spring training was supposed to start, next week, coming up soon. But, oh, no, we have to push it back to March 5th. Obviously, that was just destined. But there's just a lot of frustration. I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm nervous because – obviously, baseball is like one of mine, also your favorite sports, and it's just sad to see how little the MLB and MLBPA just don't align. And and I'm not blaming it on either side because obviously I'm more in favor of the MLBPA, obviously, but it just makes me nervous. Like, are we actually going to have like a full, like maybe like, I don't know how, obviously I'm not a predictor. I don't know how meetings are going to go next week, but all I can do is just hope that by the end of the month, things will at least be agreed on or, starting to look positive. But every time I see something, it's just something negative. And especially yesterday when I saw 15 minutes, I was like, what is this? Like it was that bad? You only talked for 15 minutes? Like, what does that mean? Like, obviously, there's still major disdain between the league and the PA. So all I can do is hope. But for right now, my hopes are looking more bleak than more positive, just because of all of this. All these meetings just not going anywhere, nothing getting resolved. But at the same time, I'm very hopeful that by next week, with all these meetings that are happening next week, due to the stress of the season starting soon, that we can actually have a good season and actually start on time. But who knows at this point?
Right. Yeah. Fantasy sports aside, yeah, baseball's my number one sport, like just from pure watching. And so, of course, the year that the Mariners are looking very good is the year that all this happens. But I don't know. I feel like both sides are going to lose too much money for this to go like too much longer. So I don't know. I feel like one, like as stingy as both sides are, one side I feel like it's going to give in. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if maybe we see like a month delay, like maybe season starts in like May or something like that. But I feel like both sides are going. I mean, and obviously you can argue that they already have so much money, so maybe it doesn't matter. But so maybe it's just me being hopeful. I don't know, but obviously all we can do is wait and see.
All I'm happy about is that college baseball is back starting today. That's all I can be happy about because I don't know what the hell the MLB is doing, but I kind of agree with you. I think someone's going to have to give in. I think personally the MLB is probably going to give in too, just because of all the revenue that they know they'll lose if they start the season slow or are delayed or all that stuff. So I think the MLB is going to have to give in sometime next week. And if they don't, well, good luck.
Yeah, and especially with the shortened season with COVID, I feel like they probably lost a bunch of money from that too. So I don't know. All I can say is between the COVID, what happened during COVID and this, we definitely can't take anything for granted for when we actually do have games and stuff. But
oh yeah,
yeah, I guess we'll continue to monitor and hopefully we'll have more news to talk about next week on hopefully them coming to an agreement by the 28th, which is 10 days from today. So that will do it for the MLB talk. Final topic, as always, college basketball. How about Rutgers, huh? They
How
keep
about
finding
Rutgers?
ways.
How about Rutgers, huh? This is what we've been talking about. Now I think Rutgers is considered a lock for the tournament now because of all the wins that they just keep racking up. They went from this team that was near the bottom of the Big Ten, didn't have a postseason outlook for the tournament, and then all of a sudden, 5 wins later, they're in the top 4 potentially of getting a bye for the Big Ten tournament, and put themselves in pretty much a great way to go into the tournament. Now the thing is, they got to go through Purdue on Sunday, which is not easy. And that's at Mackey Arena. And so that's already going to be electric. And the way Rutgers is playing right now, I could see them doing it, but it's not. That's going to be their hardest one to actually pull out within this 4-game stretch right now. But Rutgers right now is pretty much America's team. I mean, they are just winning basketball games the way that they've been doing. We talked about guys like Ron Harper and Geo Baker. I mean, it looked a little shaky at home against Illinois, but they still pulled it off. I mean, you had Omar Rui, who had 15. He had a double-double, 15-13. Harper.
It was a tough match for him against Coburn, too, and he did well, too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, against, like, Kofi Coburn, who's obviously, like, player of the year candidate, he showed out. He put up 15 and 13 against him. And then you have Ron Harper, the leading scorer was 16 and 8, shooting just a little under 50% from the field. But I mean, and then obviously with Illinois, they just couldn't hit a basket. I mean,
6 of 23 from three, I think they were as a team.
Yeah, exactly. They could not hit a three to save their life. So, I mean, I'm just loving the run Rutgers is on right now, but it ain't going to be easy, especially with that Rutgers-Michigan matchup that's happening right after Purdue. I mean, everyone's talking about that game because now Michigan's coming back into the bubble talks, which I don't think they belong in right now, but they're still coming back in with those bubble talks. So I don't think Rutgers' most important game is actually, I think Rutgers actually may have one of the hardest schedules that matters the most in the country right now, leading up to their final game. Because in this stretch, they're going to play Purdue, obviously, like one of the top 5 teams in the country, playing them on the road too at Mackey. That's difficult. Michigan, who's a bubble team, Rutgers, who's a bubble team. That's pretty much the matchup of the week for the Big Ten. Wisconsin now going to Rutgers. And obviously, Wisconsin's top 25 team having a great year. And then they got to play Indiana, who's now a bubble team. So they're just going from tournament team to bubble team, tournament team to bubble team. And these are the wins that actually matter heading down to the season. So if Rutgers can pull it off, then hats off to them. But it's only going to get harder from here. But I said that last time, and they proved me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the last 4 were all, top 16 teams. So I think this is probably the hardest at Purdue on Sunday, but I mean, the 4 straight wins against Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and then now Illinois. I think this definitely has solidified them right inside the tournament talks. Ron Harper did have a hand injury, so that'll be worth monitoring. He's day-to-day, so hopefully he'll take the court on Sunday.
But I'm telling you, if I see Rutgers beat Purdue on Sunday, you already know what we're talking about on Monday.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we'll finish off with the Oregon-Arizona State game last night, Thursday night. Arizona State whooped Oregon 81-57. I think it was like a 6-point game at half, and then they just ran away with it in the second half. ASU won 69-67 in overtime in December, so they swept the season series. Oregon, like Illinois, couldn't hit a shot at all. They were 5 of 26 from 3 as a team, and I think it's like Arizona State. They started off slow, and they've been picking it up as of late. We saw Jalen Graham drop 18, Kamani Lawrence 16, DJ Horn 16, and Marion Jackson 16 off the bench. I think Arizona State, especially if they get Marcus Bagley back, they haven't had him since November. I think that they could be we'll see how they match up in the Pac-12 tournament, but if there's going to be an Oregon State team this year, in comparison to their run last year, I think ASU could be similar to that if they can get Marcus Bagley back and keep up this momentum. I think they have that kind of talent. Obviously, early on the consistency wasn't there, but I think that they're the closest team that could make that type of run.
Ari, I'm not going to flame you right now, but what you just said was absolute blasphemy. I mean, I believe it, but I don't.
And this is coming from someone going to Arizona. Keep in mind, this is something like.
Okay, well, they're your rivals, so that makes sense. But okay.
No, it doesn't make sense, doesn't it? Normally, I would normally I would say they have no chance, but I think talent, especially if they get Marcus Bagley back, who's their best player they haven't since November. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I personally think if there's any team right now in the Pac-12 that's going to have that Oregon State, we forget about this team. Colorado. Colorado's on a run right now. They've won 4 in a row. No one's talking about them. They're climbing up the Pac-12. They were 8th as of, I think, 2 weeks ago, and now they're sitting right at 6, right behind UW, who is
But do
only.
you remember? Do you remember what seed Oregon State was in the Pac-12 last year?
I believe they were.
Were they middle? Were they middle or were they lit? Or
They
were they
were
bottom?
middle. They were
Oh, they
middle.
were.
They were
Oh,
like,
okay.
I want to say like 5 through 8 somewhere.
Gotcha.
I believe they were. I think they were a 5, honestly. But yeah, I mean, Colorado's been slept on in this conference. They're 17-9 overall right now, same record as Oregon. They had a slow start in the Pac-12, but now they're racking up good wins. I mean, they're not beating anyone noteworthy in the Pac-12, but I mean, they lost to Oregon. That was their last game by 15. But after that, they've beaten Oregon State twice, Utah and Cal, who are also at the bottom. But now here comes the test for them because they got to play Stanford on the road. They also got to play Arizona at home. They got to play ASU.
That was a bad loss for Stanford last night against Utah. They were like winning the whole game, and then they just fell apart at the end.
And that was a bad loss for Wazoo last night against UCLA. I mean, they kept it close the whole time, and then UCLA just ran with it. So don't get me started with this conference. But honestly, Colorado can make a run. I want to say ASU could, but I just think it's too late in their season. I mean, they've had a rough season, 9-15 this year. Just
Well,
a
yeah,
little.
but obviously everyone makes a Pac-12 tournament, so at that point it's anyone's game. I'm not saying that they're going to be like a 4 seed or something. I mean, if they can get hot late and then be like a I don't even know where they are. Are they? They're not the bottom because that's like Cal.
They're
And
near the
Utah,
bottom. They're 9.
Yeah, 9. So, well, I think that they could be a sneaky team if they can get hot and get Marcus Bagley back. I don't know. I don't know what his status is if he has any chance of coming back. But Oregon was already on the bubble before this loss, and now with this loss, and now their next 3 games are at Arizona and then against UCLA and USC. So I think that they're going to have to sweep those 3, I feel like, to be right back into.
They were in the position WSU was in before they got out of the bubble. WSU was in that bubble-like position, and then they had to play, obviously, Arizona, and then Arizona State, Oregon, who they already lost. We lost 4 in a row. I don't give a damn anymore. But the thing about Oregon, and now they're looking like the Oregon of the beginning of the season. That inconsistent team that just gets one bad shooting night and then has a good game and then have another bad shooting night and just doesn't look right. The inconsistencies are starting to show again. So Oregon's going to need a lot of help now because now I think they're outside looking in. But, I mean, honestly, like, in terms of teams that could really surprise, I just really, really think Colorado could still. I mean, they have that team. I mean, look, they were a decent team last year, and now they're starting to get wins under their belt. I mean, you talk about Colorado, we talk about Evan Batty and Jabari Walker, who are pretty much their leading guys. Walker averaging 14 and 9. That's a pretty good stat line for him. And then Evan Batty right behind him. And they also got Tristan De Silva, Diago's little brother. But you know, if Colorado can get on one right now, I could see them pulling an Oregon State. But I mean, Colorado has a pretty, not easy schedule. I mean, they got to play Utah in their final game, but after that, I mean, before that, they got to play Stanford tomorrow, which could trick them up, obviously, because Stanford's tough to play in Palo Alto, and then they host ASU and obviously U of A, which obviously is going to be their biggest game of their season right now if they really want to be in that team that's right there in contention. And then they finish at Utah, who's at the bottom of the Pac-12 and who they already have beat once. So don't sleep on Colorado too. Don't sleep on them.
Well, we'll keep an eye on those couple of teams as we head into March in less than 2 weeks now, and then into the Pac-12 tournament. So I think that will do it for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in live and in the replay broadcast. We'll be back on Friday. We'll be back on Monday, hopefully. So that'll be the first day of the MLB and MLBPA meeting. So maybe we'll have some news on that. We'll of course talk about the Rutgers Purdue game, no matter who wins that on Monday. And then I think We can also talk about the All-Star weekend for the NBA, and then maybe preview the rest of the regular season for the NBA and give our thoughts on that and all that. So thank you all for tuning in again. Drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll catch you all in the next episode.